Hi friends, it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. For today's video, I have my July week 1 expenses and weekly check-in. I decided to combine this into just one video because week 1 of July is technically only a couple of days. I've got July 1st through July 4th, I believe. Let me just take a look at my calendar here. Yep. Because we always start the new week on Tuesday. So it's just 4 days. We're gonna go through everything that I spent this week. It was a lot because we have been on vacation and we're going to check in for the month. So if you're interested in that, just keep watching. All right, friends, well, we are sort of midway through our vacation right now. My husband has about 11 days in a row off of work starting on July 1st. Well, he worked July 1st, but we kind of started our vacation right after work that day. So he obviously had the weekend off, Saturday, Sunday, and then he had the holiday off already for the 4th of July. And then he took a total of 5 days off. So he took Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He already had Saturday and Sunday, and then he took Monday off. So he doesn't go back to work until the 12th. It worked out to be 11 straight days of vacation time. We've spent the majority of that time at my camper. And let me tell you guys, we sure have been spending a lot of money. When I set up my July budget, I didn't specifically write anything down for our vacation. I just sort of figured we'd use my camping sinking fund and we'd use our typical like grocery budget for the food and stuff we needed, and we would just make it work. That was probably a mistake. I should have probably included a line item here for vacation specifically and maybe put less towards sinking funds for the month. So live and learn. I most likely won't make that mistake again when we do vacation time, but we've spent quite a bit of money. We're gonna see how it all kind of pans out, and I'm going to write out our expenses here for July 1st through the 4th. We actually didn't have a ton of expenses that I'm going to list here in my expense tracker, but we did have quite a bit of dipping into our sinking funds. We just kind of got back on track with stuffing sinking funds and using them again. And oh boy, am I glad that we filled our sinking funds, because we've spent a lot from that camping sinking fund. I mentioned in my sinking funds video that I posted recently that we were putting money in there for our campground payment, which is an annual fee that we pay in November or October, somewhere in there. But I also mentioned in that video, I believe, that we were going to use that for camping expenses, and we had quite a few camping expenses that came out of there. So we're probably going to deplete that sinking fund quite a bit this month, and then I'll have to really start putting money in there for our annual fee that's coming up. Because we spent so much time at the campground this week, we really discovered that we needed a lot of things. We of course had to stock up on things like propane and firewood and all of those things. So yeah, you're gonna see quite a bit of sinking fund transactions, but first let's get started with the expense tracker for just our typical budget, starting with some bills that we had to pay on the 1st. So on the 1st of the month, we always have to pay our lot rent. We live in a mobile home. We own the home, but we don't own the land, so we have to pay lot rent. And that amount that we paid was $553. The category for that is bills. If you are new here and you're not familiar with how I do my budget, I am using my budget inserts, which are available in my Etsy shop. This particular pattern is my Anchors Away collection, and it just features these really cute anchors on the top, this like nautical theme. This is my release from July. I give myself a expense tracker for every week of the month. I track out everything that we spent. I categorize it by category and I color code it to make it really easy to take that information and then plug it into my hybrid budget, which is a 2-page budget spread that I created to help me keep track of all of my monthly as well as weekly spending. So we're going to be updating both of those things today, plus updating my sinking funds tracker. So this could get lengthy if I don't stop yammering, so let's just continue. And let me zoom you guys in a touch so that you can see what I'm doing. All right, we also had to pay a water bill, and so the category there is bills, and I believe we paid $34 something. Let me just double check my little rough draft here. $34.02 was our water bill. Also that day we paid our cable bill, which is right through. These 3 transactions are actually lumped into one payment and sent off to our mobile home community. They give us a really good deal on high-speed internet that they worked out with the cable company, and we pay $60. Is it $60? No. $69.99? I gotta double check this because my rough draft is wrong, I think. It's somewhere in that neighborhood. Give me just a sec to double check that. Okay, so luckily I use erasable pen, so I'm just gonna erase this. It was actually $69. For some reason on my rough draft I wrote $60. Wasn't paying attention, so it was actually $69 even for our cable bill. All right, so that I believe is it for bills, and then we get into the grocery shopping and things that we did for our camping trip. So what I decided to do when I was breaking down my transactions is anything that was food, so groceries, eating out, that sort of thing, I included in my regular typical budget because we would be buying food anyway if we were at home, right? Anything that was specifically for camping, firewood, propane, anything we needed to like get us set up for camping, if we bought camping chairs or whatever it was, that I'm going to take out of my sinking fund. So on the 1st, we went and did just a really small grocery haul to get a few things to take with us. And then once we got to our camper and kind of settled in, we figured out what we needed. We made a big list and we went and did like our shopping for the holiday weekend. So on the 1st, what we did was we just ran to Walmart and we picked up $40 worth of stuff. That category is going to be food and household. You guys know, if you've been watching me for a little while, the past couple of months I've lumped all of our food and household items into just one category. So this is all eating out, this is all groceries, household items, all of that. And as I said, that was $40. And then my husband went and picked up beef jerky at a local place. That's like his favorite camping snack. And he paid $25.11 for that. Was it beef jerky or was it venison jerky? I don't know, but it was jerky of some sort and he loves it, so he got that. We also grabbed Subway for dinner this day because we were just getting everything packed up, ready to go, and we didn't have a ton of food in the house because we were getting ready to leave for an extended period of time, so that was also food and household then. And Subway for my family of 4 cost $37.36. My husband also ran to Circle K this day. I'll be honest, I don't even know what he bought. I think he grabbed some cigarettes and a few other odds and ends that he needed. He is a smoker, unfortunately. Typically that comes out of his spending money, but I guess in preparation of camping, he took it out of our regular budget, which is fine. He doesn't usually do that, but I just categorized that as miscellaneous, and that was $18.72. And then on the 2nd, once we were at the campground, all settled in, we wrote a list for the long weekend. We had a family come out for The holiday weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we had a really wonderful time. So we had to go to Meijer to pick up the food and stuff that we needed for our big barbecue and that sort of thing, and that came out to $134.45. So like I said, I probably should have had a line item in my budget for camping food and things, just because we typically wouldn't spend like $135 for, you know, a long weekend. But we were celebrating the holiday and just being with family and that sort of thing. We were feeding more people than usual, so came out to be a little bit more than we typically would spend. That's probably gonna bite us in the butt later, like the second half of the month, when we've used up a ton of our grocery money and we really have to try to eke by to stay on budget, but we'll kind of cross that bridge when we come to it. So that was everything for our typical budget. I'm gonna really quickly categorize this and add it up, and then we're gonna flip to the sinking fund section where you will see that we've spent quite a bit there as well. So to do my color coding, I use mild liners. I've got the blue for bills, the yellow here for like food and household, it's marked grocery, and then the only other category I have here is miscellaneous, which I'm going to use this color for because I still can't find my green highlighter that I typically use for miscellaneous. It's here somewhere amongst the chaos that is my desk. So I'm just going to color code these really quick and add them up. So for bills, we had lot rent, water, and cable. And I'm just going to pull in my calculator. $553 plus $34.02 plus $69 was $656.02 for bills. I just like to get a total just to give me an idea. I don't know if you guys can even see it there, but there's the total. So that was bills taken care of. For miscellaneous, I'll just do that really quick since it's just the one transaction, was $18.72. And then for the food and household, we had $40 plus $25.11 plus $37.36 plus $134.45. Okay. We didn't have any spending on the 3rd or the 4th in our typical budget, but you will see some transactions for our sinking funds. So for food and household, that first week, or those first 4 days, we spent $236.92. So yeah, we are already digging in deep into our grocery budget here. We had even more spending the second week of the month, which you guys will see a expense tracker and weekly check-in. I think for that I'll probably break it up into 2 videos just because it's a lot more to go over than these 4 days. You guys will see that early next week. But for now, this is done. I'm going to flip to our sinking funds. I'll fill this in off camera. The beginning balances are going to be the same as the ending balances for June, which you would have seen if you watched my sinking funds refresh video. So I will fill this in off camera so as not to bore you guys since those totals are the same, but I will fill in the transactions. So yeah, we had quite a few just in these first couple of days. Almost all of them were camping related. We did have one school expense. So on 7/1, the fund was camping, and the amount that we spent was $40, and this was for a big thing of firewood that we took with us to the campground. Then the rest of these camping expenses, honestly, I don't even know what they all are. My husband did a lot of this prep work to get us prepared for camping. I know that there was 4343 at Kresge's. I believe this was like bug repellent stuff that my husband uses in the yard to help repel mosquitoes and things. I believe that's what that was. And then he did Lowe's for 6134. I know he got I believe some propane here, some like torch stuff for our tiki torches that was also mosquito repellent. We really have a big problem with mosquitoes at our campground. And there was some other bug spray and sunscreen and stuff in there too, I believe. I don't really know. Like I said, I wasn't there with him when he did this shopping. But that was just another camping expense. So those three were camping. Then we went to Dunham's and used the school fund to buy Austin some things he needed. He was getting ready to start varsity soccer conditioning, so he needed some things. We ended up back at Dunham's later on the following week to pick up a few more things, but this was $22.53, and this was soccer stuff, so I'm just going to put that in this description so that I know. Then back to camping on the 2nd. Those were all things that happened on the 1st. On the 2nd, we went to a little local store and bought more camping stuff. Again, I think there was some ice for our coolers and a few other odds and ends. I don't even know for sure. Like I said, my husband did most of this stuff. That was $40.72. When I close out my sinking funds at the end of the month, most likely I will round all these totals up, but I have the exact amounts, so I figure I might as well do that. Then we went to Dollar General. Oops, that doesn't go here. And the amount we spent was $16.20 on I don't even know what. And then on the 3rd, we went back to Dollar General. That's kind of the closest store to us. So anytime we need anything, we grab that. And that came out of camping as well. So lots of camping transactions, but all stuff that my husband insisted that we needed. So that's that. Now really quickly, I'm just going to flip to my hybrid budget. We'll fill in those totals and then we'll be able to wrap this up. Okay, so I have flipped back to my hybrid budget. I've got my expense tracker that I filled in so I can get this information put right in here. And that's what we're gonna do. So we're not working in the second half of the planner, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fold this in half, make it a little bit easier on myself. And we're gonna start by filling in the bill totals here. So for lot rent, we budgeted $553, and that's exactly what we paid. So I'll just go ahead and write that in the actual column. For water, we budgeted $50. You can see here we spent $34.02, so that came in under budget as well, which is good news. And then for cable, $70 is what we budgeted, $69 is what we spent. So we are good to go there. Okay, so that's it for the bills that we paid in that first week. It was only a couple of days, so we didn't have too many bills to pay in that time period. Now we're going to start filling in week 1 for my variable expenses. So for variable expenses, the categories that I track are food and household, gas, spending, and miscellaneous. So all we have to do is take these totals from my expense tracker and plug them in here to the spent category here, or spent column rather. So for food and household for the first 4 days, we know that we spent $236.92 since we just figured that out. So remaining then, we just need to take what we spent from our total monthly budget, which for food and household was $1,200. So if we take that $236.92 away, that means we have $963.08 remaining, which sounds like a lot, but I promise you is not. That's going to go super fast. Hopefully we'll be able to stick to that budget. I probably should have raised it for July, knowing we were going on vacation. I think that I was just so determined to put as much money as possible into sinking funds that I didn't really put too much thought into the fact that we're going to be eating a lot more and shopping a lot more and just being a lot looser with the budget while my husband's on vacation, but we'll kind of have to see how it goes. For gas, we haven't spent anything yet, so we still have the full $200 remaining for the month, which is good. We will have to fill up here soon, though. Going back and forth to the camper is pretty darned expensive. Gas prices, though, have come down a little bit in my area, which is such a relief. For spending, we haven't had a Tuesday yet, so we haven't taken any money out of our spending for the month, so we still have that full $400. And then for miscellaneous, we spent $18.72, and we started with $100, so if we subtract the $18.72 that we spent, we still have $81.28 remaining. So overall, considering it's only been 4 days in the month, we've spent a ton. The second week of July is going to be no different because we're still on vacation then. You know, that would have been July 5th through the 11th, all of which was spent still on vacation, so lots of spending happening there as well. That's going to mean that this grocery budget is going to be real low by the time we get back to business as usual for week 3. So we might struggle to meet that $1,200 grocery budget. We've already struggled in the past couple of months to hit that $1,200 and not go over, and then you added in vacation this month, and that was just a recipe for disaster. I really should have raised that, but we'll have to kind of see how it goes. So far, you know, so good, but it's only been 4 days. So let me really quickly just add up how much we spent total in those first 4 days. $236.92 plus $18.72. So for variable expenses, we spent $255.64, and remaining we have $963.08 plus $200 plus $400 plus $81.28. So we still have $1644.36, provided that my math was all accurate. I'm not going to double check my numbers now. I'll do that off camera, but so far we're off to a good start, but we're only 4 days in. We're going to take a deep breath and continue on with our vacation. It's almost over now. I'm actually filming this on July 7th, so already we're more than halfway through my vacation. So not looking forward to getting back to business as usual, but I will be looking forward to getting back to budgeting as usual and not having this outlandish spending happening. But that's it for today's video. I hope that you liked it. I know it was weird having this posted on a day that's not, you know, like a Tuesday when I typically do this, but hopefully you enjoyed it nonetheless. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I post new budgeting and lifestyle content here on my channel every single week. I'd love to have you come back, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!